Hi there, and welcome to my Brain Health Kitchen. I'm Diana Liz, and I'm not a chef, so I use recipes that I find on the internet, and I work to make them healthier. I've been doing this for 5 years when I began my journey from cognitive decline to where I am today, hanging in there. So I became a functional medicine health coach. And then I had an opportunity to take the Daniel Amen Brain Health Coach, and I'm certified by both organizations. I'm also a neurotech that works in a clinic doing neurofeedback. So I'm going to talk about a topic that is a little taboo and it's a little complicated. So hang in there. This is information that I think every woman, especially women, need to know. So the brain, it is only 2% of the body, but it uses 25% of the energy of the body, 25%. So a brain health diet is a high energy diet. When we turn 35, aging starts, and our ability to burn carbs is reduced. And this is why we start to get a little bit of weight around the middle, because we're eating the way we did earlier, and now our body metabolism has changed. So the way we combat that is to provide our body really powerful energy. And one of the reasons that fish is so important on the brain health diet is because of omega-3. And omega-3 reduces inflammation and it provides the brain what it needs, to create all that energy so that we can think fast and we can react and we can be safe and we can be healthy, we can move, all the things that we enjoy. Well, there's a problem with fish have different quantities of mercury. The smaller the fish, the lower it is on the food chain, and it more likely got its nutrition from algae, which is also a source of omega-3. So small fish are generally cleaner than large fish. So a shark and even tuna fit this. And tuna is so popular. When you go to the store and you go to the canned fish section, you're going to see mainly white tuna. And the reason that white tuna is so popular is because it's light and it has a very pleasant taste. And then there's light tuna, and it has a more of a fishy taste. And it's darker, and it's not as white and fluffy and pretty like white tuna. And there's also ahi tuna that's very, very popular in sushi. So what we need to know about mercury is that eating contaminated fish is the #1 cause of mercury exposure in America. And we can't see or taste mercury. So we can't tell if a fish is contaminated with mercury by the texture, by looking at it, or by tasting it. And we also can't peel it and remove it or cook it and remove it. The mercury is in the fish. And so what do we need to know about this? Well, the Environmental Protection Agency says that white tuna, albacore, which is our popular tuna, has 3 times more mercury than light tuna. Well, the Natural Resource Defense Council, NRDC, did some research on the work that was done by the FDA in 2002 and 2004. And they went back and scrutinized the results. And what they found is that light tuna had 6% of the time had as much or even more than the popular albacore. So both of them have mercury. And the EPA says that young children should not eat tuna, and that women who are possibly could get pregnant should not eat more than 4 ounces a week. Well, we each have to make choices about what we consume. I was very ill in 2005, and I worked with a doctor, Vera Cantipong, who was an allergist, immunologist, and pediatrician who was semi-retired. And she was an MD, and she used complementary and alternative methods as well. And I worked with her for 3 years to reduce the mercury levels in my body. It is not easy to reduce mercury, and it has to be done slowly and in a safe way. Now, mercury finds its way to the brain. And when I do neurofeedback, I'm working with the electrical impulses that are being measured in the brain. So the brain is chemical, but it's also electrical. And so it serves as a magnet and that's why metals in the body end up in the brain. Well, I do not want to get Alzheimer's. I do not want to get dementia. So I'm not going to eat anything that is going to increase my risk of these things. So I have made the choice not to eat tuna. But fish is still a very important for brain health because of the omega-3. So what I use instead is wild mackerel. And I like it in extra virgin olive oil. I do not use it. I do not buy any fish that is packed in vegetable oil or canola oil or any other kind of oil because, well, those are the main two, is vegetable oil and canola oil. I don't do that because they're omega-6, and we already get too much omega-6 without adding fuel to the fire, and omega-6 causes inflammation. So mackerel is one of those smash fish that I have talked about, which is salmon, mackerel, anchovies, salmon, and sardines, and herring. So this is one of those fish that is recommended. So I've taken a recipe that is keto. And when you find keto recipes, they are frequently already headed in the direction of brain health. So you do very little to make them brain healthy. So all I've done is I have substituted mackerel, and it's right here. And I like the taste of mackerel, and so does my family. So I invite you to experiment with it. So I am going to do this recipe, and it requires very few changes. The one thing that that the recipe says is to peel the zucchini. And I'm not going to peel the zucchini because we know that color equals nutrition. So I am going to, it's not wanting to stick. There we go. So I'm going to roll it out, and I'm using, and it's making these beautiful little scallops. And I'm almost there. There we go. And I'm going to make a couple of cuts. So the only thing I've done is I did not peel, because the peeling is fiber. Fiber feeds our microbiota, who works for us and creates neurotransmitters and does all kinds of amazing work in our body. The next thing it calls for is cherry tomatoes, and they did not have cherry tomatoes in the store, and they did not have scallions. So I have substituted red onion, and I've just chopped up a small tomato. And we add the light tuna, and this isn't tuna, this is mackerel. And we kind of flake it. And we add olive oil. And lemon. And this is real lemon that I squeezed earlier. I do not like buying lemon out of a can or jar. It calls for baby spinach. And spinach and kale are so nutritious. And they have that dark green color. We've talked about color is nutrition, and that dark green color is trapped sunlight. We added the scallions and now capers. And, you know, I've always wondered what's the big deal with capers? There's these little round things. And, but they are very high in antioxidants. So this is reducing inflammation, and it helps with cleaning the body. When I say cleaning the body, it helps with detoxification. And detoxification is not something we need to do once a year. It's something we need to do every day. And spinach helps with detoxification as well. So there are the capers and dillweed. Anytime that you have the opportunity to add fresh herbs like basil, this recipe calls for dillweed, and just love dillweed. And I'm putting in twice as much as what the recipe called for, because it's just so nutritious. And dillweed also works for anti-inflammation and detoxification. So this is healthy, healthy, healthy. And then the next thing we do is we just toss it. And I have one more recipe that I'd like to prepare that needs a few more adjustments. So I'll be back in just a minute. Okay, the second recipe. And I want to show you how beautiful the first recipe came out, and everything in it is nutritious, and nothing in there that might hurt us. So this next one is kind of like a traditional tuna salad, and I have the celery, and I have red onions and parsley, because we look at the beautiful, beautiful color of parsley, and we know that that's nutrition. So we have that. I have pickles that are organic, and I'm going to add those sweet pickles. And I'm going to add the mackerel and flake it out. Now this doesn't really give precise directions. So I'm adding 1 can of mackerel, but I really think it needs 2. And I used up the other can on the first recipe. So for demonstration purposes, here we go. So there's the mackerel. And even though it was packed in olive oil, I'm going to add some additional olive oil, because this is nutrition and it's anti-inflammation, and I will have to use less avocado. Now, this recipe calls for mayonnaise, and we know that mayonnaise is generally made with vegetable oil and canola oil and other GMO products. It has preservatives in it, and this is all natural. It's organic avocado, and it has a peel. And so I'm just going to turn it over, and I'm going to squeeze it out. And I'm going to use that in place of mayonnaise, because this is all natural and healthy. Now, we have the mayo, the celery, the onion, the relish, and lemon juice. Oops, I left it. I didn't squeeze it. And then it has possible ways of making it a little different. And one of the things it talks about are apples. The environmental working group makes a list of the dirty dozen. And these are the products that have the most stuff on them that's not good for us. And apples are number 5 out of the dirty dozen. So when you go to purchase apples, apples are one of the products that needs to be purchased organic. This doesn't mean that it's not ever going to have anything in it, because there are 80,000 chemicals and they're everywhere, but it hasn't been sprayed with glyphosate. And there's a price for the beautiful apples that we find in the store. And so, and you can wash it and get some of the wax that's off of them that makes them look prettier for sale. And you want to eat the peeling. Remember, the microbes eat the fiber, and we need to feed our microbes. We need to feed 39 trillion of them in our bodies so that they work for us. And we don't need to give them any glyphosate. So the recipe also calls for stone ground mustard, and this is organic, and it has in it, it has organic grain vinegar, water, organic mustard seed, and organic spices. So read the labels and know what it is that you are consuming. 1 tablespoon, there we go. And we mix this all up, and voila, we have a healthy, nutritional mackerel salad. Thank you so much, and I hope that you will follow me. I look forward to sharing all the adaptations that I've made that have helped me improve my brain health, and it just feels good to know that you're doing things for yourself that will make you healthier and stronger and more alert. And so all I want to say is bon appetit for a brighter brain. And if you liked what I've shared today, please follow me. And I look forward to, if you have anything that you'd like for me to work on, I'd love the challenge. So bye for now.